Hi everyone, someone asked me if it's much better to take like shots or medication while they are in another country or United States before coming to Philippines, like for certain disease like that. Well, my answer is yes, not because I don't trust Philippine medical or something, but because I believe that the price is really different, especially if you're a foreigner. Sometimes that happens a lot. Like my cousin, he tried to bring his son to a public hospital where to get a free shots like that, but because of his last name, it's American sounding, and my cousin still, majority of his blood or his skin still, his features still foreigner, so they didn't, give shots to his son because they said it's only for less privileged people. So I think everyone is paying tax, and to be selfish for the welfare of a child is really not good. But anyway, they're moving to Baguio. I like Baguio because not only the weather, but also because, the food, the shopping at night. Night shopping, I like that. I like night shopping in Baguio. And yeah, it's much better for you to take it in the United States, especially if you can get it for free. And also you can bring some extra creams and medicines, but not too much medicine because customs office is quite crazy nowadays. Just, small medicines like for headaches, or if not, just creams or antibiotics. But usually you can buy them in the Philippines, so it's okay. Like generic shops, they are quite cheap, and even Mercury Drug, they're not very expensive. So, but when it comes to shots, it's better to take it in your country if it's possible. And you can actually not only save money, but prevention is always better than cure. Remember that, people. So if you prevent it, and if you're careful, it's always gonna be okay. And the next question, I hope that I answered your question. I don't know if it was helpful, but I hope you got the idea right there. And yeah, you got my point. The next one is long distance phone calls. Which network is good? Personally, if you're gonna make a personal phone call, I think it's much better if you use Smart. They are a little bit cheaper than Globe when it comes to phone calls. I think 9 pesos per minute, but sometimes it's not only 9 pesos, because when I call to London, I spend a lot on calling my aunt, so it's much better that she calls me. And then another thing is that another one which you could use is Sun Cellular. They're also very cheap when it comes to international phone calls. But all you have to do, but you really need a good signal for Sun Cellular. I think because it's just like a baby company of big companies, the service or the network isn't that great yet. But price-wise, it's kind of cheap. So I guess you could go for Sun Cellular. But there are other options which you could use if the person you're calling has an internet connection. I would advise you to, or if you have an internet connection, you can sign up with Skype. And with Skype, you can, if you're in Europe or United States, you can put some money on it. Like, let's say, United States, let's say $20. And then you can, even if you're in the Philippines, as long as you have internet connection, you can make a phone call to a regular phone to another country at a very cheap price. I'm not really sure about the rates, but it's very, very, very cheap. It's just you have to pay by credit card, or I think debit card, to put some money in your account. But it's very cheap, and it can really help you a lot. So Skype is one option. Another option, but if you're gonna call someone if both of you have internet connection, I think it's much better for you to download, like what Filipinas do. They download different applications for calling. So one of them would be KakaoTalk. KakaoTalk is usually used by Koreans, and it's not only for texting. You can also see if someone read your messages already, and at the same time you can also do video calls. You can just search that at App Store. You just have to register, and it's for free. Tango is also another one. It's also used by many Filipinas, and some people even use Tango like a Tinder, like who's near my place, like that. So one time I opened Tango, I deleted my account because it became quite creepy. But then search my area, and then suddenly my area, of course I'm in Angeles City, like a lot of people are looking for dates, blah blah blah, so I had to delete it. But it's also good for video calls. And then what's up? Actually, if you search KakaoTalk below App Store, you're gonna see a lot of other social media. Applications that could provide free video call and text and just calling. So as long as you have a good internet connection. Personally, when I was in the Philippines, 3G is not that bad. I can still make phone calls and text messages. Video calls are good at night, or if there's a good Wi-Fi connection. But if it's only 3G, it's much better to just make a text message. But it's everywhere, and plus it's cheap, like 50 pesos 24 hours. That's not bad, right? That's like $50. But 200 for 1 week is not that bad. Another one is Line. This is quite popular in Japan, so it's the same as the others. And also, of course, Facebook Messenger. You can make a phone call and text message. And nowadays, I heard you can even send money, but I don't know if it works in the Philippines. I don't think so, because whenever I try to text my mom, whenever I open my Facebook and I'm always trying to find a way to send her money. I have to still use the old style, remittance service. So also Facebook has video call, so I think that's a good service, right? And then another quest, so I hope that helped. I would say Sun Cellular if you're gonna use a regular network. Globe and Smart, they are kind of expensive, so just not avoid, but it's much better if you use internet connection, especially if there's Wi-Fi. It works well. And just use application, or you can reload your Skype before you come to Philippines so that you can make those phone calls. Okay, another question is I'm sick is actually, we used to live near amsic. We live at near Hensonville Court, and amsic, someone asked me if amsic is like a squatters area. There are some areas in amsic which are squatters area. They're the far back side. Usually this is a very not really a good place to stay. It's like the subdivision is in front, the good place, and then far back amsic is a little bit, small houses, crowded, small street. My best friend who works in the bar before that's where the one who got 1 million, that's where she bought her land. She only got it that time for only 200,000 pesos, and she was able to build like a 5-bedroom house. So I think amsic is still quite cheap. And yes, not everybody who lives there are rich, and I'm not gonna say it's really like a squatters area, because there are some apartments, but for a foreigner, I really wouldn't advise people to rent there. Especially, it's not very easy to travel there, because some cars cannot fit in some streets, or they can fit but it's only one way, and then the mode of transportation is tricycle. So yeah, it's not really a squatters area, but at the same time it's not a very good subdivision. And most Filipinas who are saving money on rent or something like that, they live there because it's kind of cheap, very cheap actually, because of the location. So location, right? Location. Donald Trump said that. Is it him? So yeah, I hope I answered your question. I'm gonna be making my other videos.